Just remember that Pop Culture Minefield, when it's discussing rumors, are just rumors. You have to take them with a grain of salt.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Minefield. That's Keith.
And that's Gerry.
And we're here to talk about a little bit of nerd stuff. So, two things in the pipe today. There were two scoops that hit online. The first one being about Batman, and the second one being about Superman Shazam. And of course, the first scoop is going to be by Heavy Spoilers, and it's a channel that I watch. I don't know if you watch their channel, but you should, Keith. I think you would like his channel. I watch him all the time.
I probably would.
I get a kick out of him. He talks about an assortment of things, but he's really, really big into the Batman thing, which I'm happy about. Because as we get closer and closer to these productions, DC, intentionally or unintentionally, is going to be doing a lot of leaking. And that's, of course, to put those feelers out. How are people reacting to these things? It's very similar to once the movie's finished, having it shown to an audience before it's actually officially released, to give them time to address issues that the audience might have.
Yeah, not really DC. For clarification, this is Warner Brothers putting out feelers. A lot of the leaks will be coming from them because DC doesn't have any film stuff. I mean, we've already established that. So, but that's Walter Hamada. As far as C2E2, which just passed, and according to Jim Lee, Walter Hamada is still in control. He's still doing things, so he is still the main guy for all DC films. Matt Reeves The Batman looks like, or sounds like, it's going to be something very special, and will be a combination of different comics that have been published. So they're looking at having the Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and Zero Year being a major part of this.
And that's what was on his spoiler today. And I'm going to put the graphic up so you can see it. But this is the actual private message he got. It's, of course, been redacted of the names that were on there. But this came out on Sunday, and Heavy Spoilers did not release it until today because he wanted to vet who these people were before he said anything.
Yes.
And so he felt pretty sure that this is legit. And so as you can see in this, he's talking about what Keith just said, that the comics that are being used in the film are The Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and a little bit of Zero Year thrown in. But the shocker, what is the shocker? Is that it? The shocker, that's why this show is not for kids. So if you're under 13, get the hell off this site. The big shocker from this is the fact that they're doing Batman Earth 1 Volume 1. And that's apparently the Bible for the overall story arc.
Well, it's Jeff Johns. Yeah. So
go ahead, see what you're going to say about Jeff. Because I know
you know what? I've said everything about. Look, talented guy. There's a reason why he's got his own production company now, and he's trying to do his own thing. But again, for a guy that even when he was in control, didn't get as much stuff done as he could have, as he should have, and spent way too much time allowing other people to have their way with the characters that he should have been helping to produce and had more influence over than what he allowed other people to do. And in this case, who I'm actually talking about is Greg Berlanti. For whatever reason, Jeff Johns just sort of bent the knee to Greg Berlanti and allowed Berlanti to do anything he wanted with those characters. He still does to this day. And I think that's really my biggest thing with a lot of the CW characters. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these characters will continue to be CW characters until such time as you get somebody in there that is a real big fan making this stuff and who will do a better job of playing to the comics rather than to whatever else they got going on.
Yeah, exactly. So that was an interesting scoop. And of course, bringing up CW is a great segue into our next part, because we know that the DCEU is got their own Superman that's going to be on Arrowverse/CW.
Yeah, and they're calling it Superman and Lois. Yeah. And it'll be a nice mixture of different things. I will at least say this. I am surprised that they're not allowing their big screw up of all the stuff they did with Supergirl to stop them from making a lot of the changes that they've decided to do for this show. Like, instead of having one kid, Clark and Lois will have two kids, and I think they're going to be twins. And finally making sure that Ron Troop is a character that they could use, who should have been a part of Supergirl from day one rather than Jimmy Olsen. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, you and I we've talked about that ad nauseum. That guy should have been Steel, and it was ridiculous casting him. Oh,
well, yeah, either Ron Troop, Steel, or Black Lightning should have been in that first season of Supergirl, and not Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah,
it
that
made
was just
no
dumb.
sense.
It was dumb. But the second one, scoop, comes from Lords of the Long Box, which you and I both follow, and
yes.
Of course we are friends with and talk to Mikey a lot, and we love his scoops. We're going to be eventually at some point getting our own scoop from him. He's going to throw us a bone because he likes us. He likes the cut of our jib. And but Lords of the Long Box took the scoop from him about Superman as well, returning with Shazam. Mm-hmm. And what were your thoughts on that, buddy?
You know, getting Henry Cavill back has been something that those of us that are big fans of Cavill as Superman and his work with Zack Snyder, and have been paying attention, especially those of us paying attention between the months of July and November of last year, when you started seeing stuff where Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill were hanging out a lot. So, I mean, basically,
and just so you understand why, is because they have one person in common. It's The Rock's wife, who is also his agent, who is also Henry Cavill's agent.
Henry Cavill's agent, yeah. And it just, look, The Rock is smart. Anybody that still continues to think that he is not one of the biggest people out in Hollywood right now, you need to just stop.
He is, in my opinion, from behind the scenes and on camera, one of the smartest dudes on screen and behind the camera. He's sharp as hell.
He is one of the producers of Shazam, and that's part of the reason why he's pushing to have Henry Cavill in Shazam 2, which is really, really smart.
And Warner Brothers will not. I'm telling you, there's no way they're not going to let him have his way.
Yeah, if you manage to scare off or piss off Dwayne Johnson, technically then you've already managed to throw away two people, both him and Henry Cavill, and I guarantee you both of them already have standing invites to join the MCU.
Oh, both of them do.
And they will take advantage of it.
That's the whole thing, and they bring that up in the video, Lords of the Long Box, is that, because I said this, you remember I said this, I said Henry Cavill, all this news that we're hearing coming out, Wolverine, I guarantee you it came from his camp, because this is good for him. Every time he's in the news, even if it's fake news, it's good, you know, and it's got people talking about him. And no, he'll never play Wolverine, which I said right when that news story came out. I'm like, oh, bullshit. I would love it.
There have been people talking about this, and that one of the reasons why DC could be dragging their feet with a lot of this stuff is that they're waiting for JJ. They're waiting for JJ to come in and start doing what he does. But
I think they're having buyer's remorse, though, because they've seen what happened to Star Wars and Star Trek, and they have to be aware of how bad that turned out.
You gotta weigh it out. As to who's more valuable to you in the long run.
Yep.
Either J.J. Abrams or Dwayne Johnson. Now,
I'm sorry, The Rock all the way.
Well, what I'm saying is this. JJ's fatal flaw is in finishing things. He's good at the beginning. So you got to weigh out, could whatever beginning JJ has be as good as just allowing Dwayne Johnson to basically play it out the way that he plans? And to me, as a Snyder fan, I would say that just I agree with you. Go with Dwayne Johnson. He is your better bet, and he's been more consistent than even JJ.
That's the word. It's like when you look at his films that didn't do so well, and you compare it across the board with JJ, The Rock nails it every time. He wins. He wins.
Yeah. He doesn't frighten off people to quit franchises permanently.
Never.
He may make a movie that might be a little disappointing to you, but he will never cause you to go, well, I'm done with that franchise. There is a reason why people call him Franchise Viagra. He is very, very good at his job.
It's like I said, if he ever does, because they've been talking about it for years, if he ever does make the sequel to Big Trouble in Little China, there's no way he's going to make that without Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. He wants what he wants. And you're best just giving him what he wants, because he knows how audiences who enjoy his stuff, he knows what they want. And I think for Dwayne Johnson,
oh my goodness,
he is a
ghost
big...
just walked behind you again.
I know, right? For Dwayne Johnson, he is a big fan and proponent of the way the DCEU has been under Snyder. So that's your twist. You know, if you're going to keep Dwayne Johnson happy, you got to give him what he wants. And part of what he wants is keeping the whole DCEU, or at least the Snyder version of it, a little more lively and alive and connected to a lot of these films. He wants the shared film universe. He wants this movie. He wants to not only have Shazam tied to Superman, he would probably like Shazam and Black Adam to be tied to Wonder Woman, Aquaman,
yes,
and all the rest. And the thing is, all of this is really, all this dumb stuff with Cavill is all about money. You got a bunch of executives who want to blame Cavill, and the thing is that Cavill wants to be a part of all this. He's not rejecting Superman at all. He wants to do this.
This is very similar to the situation with Sherry Redstone in that lawsuit, because she has the opportunity here to go, you know what, we have a whole new team and we're going to approach this lawsuit differently. The same thing goes here. Warner Brothers is now owned by AT&T. This is a whole new executive staff. And it's like, we need to approach this differently than the way the previous owners did. And they have an opportunity to really, really make the fans excited about seeing this movie. Now, I want to point out that Lords of the Long Box said that in Mikey Sutton's scoop that that Henry Cavill's part's not going to be that big. I think that would be a huge mistake. I think that Henry Cavill's Superman should be at least in half the film, if not the whole film.
Well, I'm like you. I'd like to see more of Henry Cavill, but at the same time, you also have to realize
you're going to make the same mistake, though, is my point. You're going to make the same mistake because the failure of Superman was not Henry Cavill's fault. It was Warner Brothers and of course, what they made
Kevin Tsujihara, really.
Well, and what they made Zack Snyder do, because they forced him to make that film. I learned that from you. That they forced him to make the Superman that we saw and had issues with. That was not the film he wanted to make. And so Warner, the previous owners, are the ones to blame for that film, not Henry Cavill. The fans embraced Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
He may not
and he loves the fans.
Oh, exactly.
He loves the fans.
He understands that character. When I saw an interview with him 4 years back, it was a team thing where he and Ben Affleck were bantering, and then he kind of went off on his own in one video. and he was talking about Superman and who Superman is, I said, this guy gets it. Why are we not seeing that Superman?
Yeah.
So, but again,
and I personally think that if Shazam 2 does well at the box office, okay, you can take it to the bank that Dwayne Johnson is going to try to use that to parlay Henry Cavill into other things and to try to get him back into the DCEU. Now, I think personally putting him in Shazam 2 is the easier way to go because technically he was contractually or was supposed to be in that. And that's where talks and everything else broke down.
Oh, it fell
I'm thinking
apart.
Dwayne's thinking...
And that was completely on Warner's... It was Warner's fault for that failing.
Yeah. So,
but the movie's great.
I think...
The film didn't fail.
Yeah.
But Warner failed in not having Henry in that film.
Yeah. And I think that... putting him back in there and the movie being really successful, and by really successful, I mean makes more money than it did the first time around. If they can get this movie as close to $1 billion as possible, I think you will start to change a few minds in management over at Warner Brothers to get them to at least consider allowing Henry Cavill to have some sort of role in the upcoming Black Adam, and maybe even a role in one of the other DC films coming up, like, say, Aquaman 2. And by allowing Cavill to do stuff like that, now, that's the boring way to do it. I mean, that's a lot of time there. But doing those things might convince them to at least give Cavill the one thing that I think he's always wanted, which is Man of Steel 2, which is what every fan's waiting for. We want a Man of Steel 2. At the very least, if Cavill's going to walk away, he'll walk away after Man of Steel 2. Just give him that, you know? And I think that's what he wants. That's what Dwayne wants for him. That's what a lot of fans want. And to me, Warner Brothers probably won't be able to get out from under this until they give it to him. Now, does that screw JJ? Maybe. But JJ's a big boy.
He's
making all this money.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, to me, JJ has other things to deal with. He's got a 5-year contract. To me, JJ can just go off and do other things. So, you know.
All I got to say is I was really excited to hear that news today. That's a really great scoop. And with that, I guess we'll just end it here. So that's Keith.
And that's Gerry.
And we're out of here.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. Remember, you can find us at Pop Culture Minefield on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you again.
Y'all come back now, you hear?